Hope everybody's doing good today. Doing my Watchman on the Wall news. I'm going to say a little bit before I get right into it. A lot of times I do this at the end of the video. And I know these videos are long, and it's hard for some people to watch a long video. But there's sometimes a lot of good stuff in here. It'll help you see how close we are to the rapture of the church, the tribulation about to start. And I'm not doing this to scare you. I mean, it can be scary if you don't know Christ, and I guess some people do know Christ. It can be kind of shaking. But my purpose in doing this is, like I said, for you to see how close it is, and that you need to put your trust in your life into Christ's hands. And this is very important that you do this before it's too late. You don't want to go through the tribulation, because if you do, there's a 99% chance that you're going to die. And a very good chance you will get your head chopped off. And that's biblical, that's not me. Your family's going to turn on you. Your husband or wife's going to turn on you. Your children are going to turn on you. Your mom and dad's going to turn on you. Biblical, not me. You say, well, I'll never take the mark. I'll never do such a thing. I'll never turn on my parents. I'll never turn on my kids. God sends a deception on the world for you not trusting Him. And you will be fooled. Look how often and how easily we are fooled now. I mean, how many people got fooled and been into jab? Look how easily we get fooled on what we watch and listen to. I mean, there's demonic stuff constantly being forced down our throats. And in music, what we listen to. I mean, really listen to some of the lyrics. We had the LGBTQ, and it's not about certain rights. It's about them shoving their agenda down our throats, and that's what all this is about. And I don't have nothing against these people. First and foremost, let's get this out of the way. I have nothing against somebody who is gay, who has any sort of mental issues, because some of this is demonic. Satan is coming at us with everything he has. His time is short. So him, his minions, demons, whatever you like to call them, they are on the march. They are coming. Their time is here now, and it's going to get worse as their season is at hand, I guess you could say, before Christ comes back. Because this is what we've asked for, by turning our backs on God. So during the tribulation, we're going to be deceived if you're still here. Now, God does send certain things here where you may get saved, but please don't be fooled. If you're not going to accept Christ now, what makes you think you will then? You could. But don't take that chance. But I just ask you to look at some of this stuff, listen to it, research it yourself. If none of my videos, like I said, are long, and with all the news, I could do this from 6 o'clock in the morning until midnight every day and not get caught up. That's how fast things are happening. And this is the difference between the past and now, when people say, you Christians have been saying this for years and years and years. certain things had to happen, and everything had to happen at one time. Things are happening exponentially at one time now, and it's getting faster and faster and faster, like birth pains, like the Bible said. The closer you get to having a baby, the more intense it gets, and that's what's happening, and it's going to get more and more intense. So this information is very important. If you don't have time, break the videos down. Watch 10 minutes here, try to remember where you're at, go back and watch it later. I mean, I'd love to knock some time off, but it's hard to do. I've tried. And you can go to my YouTube page. It's God's Warrior89. It has all my videos on there, even a couple of my wife singing. And that's 2 words and not one whole word. And God is capitalized, Warrior is capitalized. And Warrior89 is together. But I just want to say this at first, because I know a lot of people don't watch the whole video because of the length. And I understand it's time consuming. And I understand, you know, especially when you have kids or some people taking care of their parents or so forth. And it's hard to do. But maybe, hey, if you're going around the house and you're cleaning, you can get YouTube on your TV or bring it up on your phone. I'm sure you don't want to see this ugly mug all day, but you can listen to it while you do that. So maybe listen to it. I think you get some good things out of it. I'm not the best speaker in the world. Sometimes I rush myself and I mispronounce things, and I'm trying to get better at that, and sometimes I don't realize I do it. I have a bad tendency of talking really fast, so I'm sorry if I do that. I would love for you to like my videos. Feel free to leave comments, good or bad. I realize I'm going to have bad comments from people who just don't believe, and that's part of posting something. And that's fine. It is what it is. But I want to say a little bit, and there's probably a few more things I want to say, but I can't remember right now. But reach out if you need to ask anything. You need to have questions about salvation. Reach out to me. It would stay with me. Reach out to my wife. I can tell you how to talk to her if you'd rather talk to a woman. Like I say, it would stay with us. It would not get out. I'm a sinner just like you. I am so much a sinner just like you, the Lord saved. Understand what it's like to lose a parent. I understand what it's like to have an addiction and to be addicted to something. Mine wasn't drugs, it was pornography for over 30 years. God delivered me. And you say, well, that's nothing. It is an awful, awful addiction. It's terrible. And it caused my first marriage part of it. It was part of it. It was my addiction to that. So it's this awful thing. And one time I wouldn't talk about, but you know, hey, it's part of my testimony. You know, I've lied. I never cheated on any of my wives, which was 2 of them. One I'm still married to, and the one I was. But I've not cheated on them. But in between my first and my second, I really sowed my oats, I guess you would say. Like I said, I had a sex addiction. I guess you could say. I don't know how else you would say things and put it really. And God delivered me. God delivered me. He kept me safe from catching anything. And like I said, I didn't deserve nothing. He has blessed me with such a wonderful woman who I really never thought I'd get married to again. And he blessed me with such a wonderful woman. It's amazing. I don't deserve her. But she has truly been a blessing to my life. And it's just, I don't know what else to say about that. I have a lot to say, but I don't have time. So I understand all that. I understand what it feels like to feel like you go to hell, or maybe you might go to hell. I had a heart attack, and I had some time when I think God did it for a purpose. I did not feel God's love, like God's hand was taken away from me. And that was the worst feeling in the world. That was the worst feeling than a divorce. That was the worst feeling than when, my dad died, when my grandparents died, which was like another father and mother to me. In anything. The separation you feel, especially when you are a Christian, and I wasn't living like one. And you don't feel God's love. Oh, that was the worst feeling in the world. It was. I didn't see nothing, no big visions or nothing, but I felt the loneliness. I felt a sense of darkness, and that helped change my life back around. And my wife can testify for that, because I was going through some awful depression. I understand depression, stress, all kinds of just craziness. And God brought me out of that, and has brought me to where I am now. Like I said before, I knew God. I believed in God. But I wasn't living for God. I am living for God now. That's my life. It's all that matters. All that matters to me is hopefully help to lead people to the Lord. And when I go, whether it be rapture or whatever death it may be, that I hear, "Well done, good and faithful servant." That's all that matters. And this is one reason I think God's helped lead me to do this. And I think God's put a call on my life to evangelize, some preaching, which is evangelism. And I am working on something. But I'm going to get to this new stuff here. I hope you watch, or take your time, watch it, break it down, whatever you need to do. But it's maybe a little long. I got a hair to teach me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep scratching my nose in front of you. But let's get to it. Let's say I think it might be a bit to this. We'll see how it goes. And hopefully, like I said, I won't get too fast and lose you. And if I do, I'm truly sorry. So here's some Israel stuff. Jews and Christians are coming together to reinstate the biblical commandment of the red heifer. Now, I'm going to try to read some of this and then go back and commentate on it. Iran is waging a multiple front war of attrition against Israel, Gallant says. The IDF will act in all areas, even far from Israel's borders, the defense minister said in a Sunday night memorial ceremony. The IDF has acted and will continue to act in all areas, in overt and covert operations along the border, across the border, and even far from the border. And growing indications of military actions coming up in Gaza. Sources in Gaza say Hamas and Islamic Jihad fear Israeli plans to launch operation or target assassination of terror leaders. In parallel, IDF is escalating fortification of Gaza region roads and access points due to expected eruption of fighting soon. Terror attack in Jerusalem. 2 Orthodox Jews were shot in a car and seriously wounded. The guy ran away. I seen that video. It's crazy. In Syria, the Saudi foreign minister landed a short while ago in Damascus, and that's the first visit since 2011. Kuwait media indicated that Kuwait foreign minister is also expected to arrive in Damascus. Iran will destroy Tel Aviv at the slightest Israel action. The slightest mistake against our country will be responded with a harsh response and will be accompanied by the destruction of Hafi, I think that's how you say it, and Tel Aviv, Rashisa. I'm not sure how you say his name. I have a hard time with these names. I say it, and that's the Iranian president. The extra-regional and American forces should leave the region as soon as possible because it is in their own interests and in the interest of the region. And that's the Iranian president. Let's see, it still goes. If Israel will sign a deal with the Saudis in the near future, Iran will be the one who is surrounded by Israel's presence. From the south, it'll be the Saudis. From the northeast, it will be, I can't even say that. And from the north, it will be another nation I can't say. So, Iran admits it's behind the rockets from Lebanon, Syria, and Gaza. That was a week or so ago. The commander of the Revolutionary Guards, the rockets fired at Israel from Syria, Gaza, and Lebanon are revenge for the death of the 2 Iranian advisors in Syria. Israel's defense minister warned, "We are facing a new security challenge in which a real threat is possible in all fronts at the same time." The Minister of Defense added, "We operated for years under the assumption that limited conflicts could be held, but this is a phenomenon that is disappearing more and more." The Pentagon has confirmed the U.S. military will send 9 C-17 aircrafts with Marines to prepare for the evacuation of U.S. Embassy staff in Sudan. Israel increasing Syria attacks to prevent Iranian weapons deliveries. Defense Minister Gallant said that Israel doubled the number of attacks in Syria in the first quarter of 2023. So let's go back. Some of these stuff I get is from foreign papers, so it is how they word it and write it is really hard sometimes. It kind of jumbles things together how they write. All right, the first thing here about the Jews and the Christians and the red heifer, that's important. Like I said, the red heifer is a sacrifice in the temple, and this will be done when they rebuild the temple. Now, the temple will definitely be rebuilt in the tribulation. And there's some feeling it will be started before the tribulation. So, and all the pottery and everything needed during these things, I've heard, is already made, is prepared. The red heifers have 1 more year to grow to see if they have the purification needs, which means there can't be one white hair, black hair, nothing on them for the sacrifice. And the Christians now are coming together with this to bring this Old Testament ritual back. So, like I said, another example of how close. You have Iran and all these other countries who are raging, or keep bombing Israel, and they're trying to use all Israel's missiles up in the Iron Dome. So when they attack, they have nothing to fire back to stop these missiles. And Israel is, and that whole area is having a feeling there is, a confrontation definitely coming around Gaza. They are definitely building up their area. You can look at pictures and stuff how they're building up, and Israel's preparing for a conflict around the Gaza area. Hamas is in it now. There's so many different groups over there who are now all together in different countries, and before they never were because they can't stand each other, different Muslim groups. But now they are coming together to come against Israel. This has never happened before. Like I said, the 2 Orthodox Jews that got shot by the terrorists, they were actually at a stop sign, and the guy just walks up to a car with a gun and shoots inside the car and shoots both the elderly gentlemen. Now, they both survived luckily, and the terrorists just run off. I have not heard if they caught him. And like I said, you have these people going to Damascus. Damascus is eventually destroyed to rubble. Some people say that's part of prophecies already happened years ago. Some say it's going to still happen. I guess we'll see. And talk about Iran will destroy Tel Aviv and that area. So see, they are, threatening. They have always kind of thrown a threat at Israel and never done nothing. But then you got to look at all these other countries now who are with Iran. It's not just Iran, yapping like a little dog. They have much more people around them now who's willing to help and want to help. And here you got the Pentagon is sending our Marines and aircraft down to help to get our U.S. Embassy people out of Sudan. If the militants in Sudan win this takeover, they will be there to help Iran, which will wind up helping them against Israel. So that has something to keep an eye on down in Sudan, how important that is. That is something that's building and becoming explosive in that area. And you can look at some Bible stuff on Israel and what's going on. Time of Jacob troubles, and that's kind of the tribulation. But it's Jeremiah 37, different things. You look up Zechariah 12:10. There's another Jeremiah 38:8, Ezekiel 11:17, and Romans 11:26. You can look up Ezekiel's Ezekiel war, where all these countries come against Israel, which some people think it'll be right at the beginning of the rapture, or the rapture will happen during this war, or something about the rapture will happen during this time, before, during, or after. But talks about all these countries coming against Israel in Ezekiel 38 and 39. And here's some wars and rumors of wars. And like I said, yes, there's always been wars and rumors of wars. But they're more intense. There's more of them. And more things are actually happening. And you got to take in consideration, it's not just these things happening. It's happening with everything else at a rapid rate of speed. This is not just one thing here, one thing there. It's everything at the same time going on. So, you need to realize what's going on here. Intel report the U.S. military killed a very senior member of ISIS in Syria. The killing took place in northern Syria near the border of Turkey. Rage in the Japanese government over Russia plan to hold missile exercises from April 18th to the 22nd in the southern part of the Kuril Islands. According to the Japanese government, the exercise area penetrates Japanese territorial waters. Let's go ahead and comment on that. As you see, China and Russia both actually, but Russia and these people are continuing to push the issue. They push their boundaries. They're seeing how far they can go with things. Because China and Russia are the world powers right now. Not us, it's them. Just like the Bible predicted, especially with Russia. And they are continuing to show strength. Russian military and civilian vessels are currently operating in northern Europe to map the locations of internet and power cables, oil pipelines, and wind farms in the region of Denmark, Norway, Finland, Sweden, ahead of possible action against the vital infrastructure, I can't talk now, in the event of a military conflict in the West. It's coming, folks. They now already know war is coming. War is coming everywhere, and Russia is preparing for that. They want to take over. They want the old Russia back. U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, Israel will not allow Iran to build a nuclear bomb, and we are just around the corner from a military conflict in the region. Well, that's not rocket science. We can see that's the thing, but I think he's saying that the U.S. is willing to help. But I think it depends who's in power here, how much will help. Taiwan buys 400 U.S. anti-ship missiles from the U.S. to face China. Taiwan citizens are preparing for a full Chinese invasion. According to the Iranian announcement, the submarine Florida, which was recently reported to have been deployed in the Red Sea to deter Iran from carrying out further attacks in the region, was located and identified by an Iranian submarine after entering Iran's territorial waters. The submarine was forced to surface, was warned, and required to change its course. China is preparing for war. Is America prepared? The ammunition is running low. Casualties will be immense. Medicine and other critical supplies will become scarce, and a nuclear attack on the American homeland is imminent. Sudan. Europe and the U.S. are gearing up for the emergency evacuation of deployment from Sudan. Special forces have already arrived in countries very close to Sudan. China's push to hijack enemy satellites. A national security expert is sounding the alarm on China's developing cyber capabilities after a classified U.S. intelligence leak reportedly exposed their efforts to build weapons to overtake enemy satellites. And you can read a bunch of this stuff, Rumors of Wars, in Matthew 24:6 and Mark 13:7. There's more, but I just didn't have time to look more things up. And off the top of my head, I didn't. I remember it. Like I said, this basically kind of go over the basics here. You see how Russia and all that and China are flexing their power. They're pushing their boundaries. It's not just Taiwan now. They're getting closer, to Japan. They're going, Russia's now, doing things into Denmark, Norway, Finland, Sweden, and who knows where else to map things out. So when the time comes for them to attack, and they will, it's going to happen. They're going to attack at some point, and I'm not saying it's right now, but it's the way things are going. Taiwan's buying stuff from us. They're going to at least, I think, put up a fight. I don't think it'll be a very successful one against China. China will get Taiwan whenever they want it. It's just they're a powerhouse. Plain and simple. It's crazy because in past people we had in power here, if one of our subs was told to break surface by a foreign, I wouldn't even say a power, but something like Iran, I do not believe that would have happened. We are obeying everybody that calls us out on something. Nothing happens. So you can say, well, see, nothing happened, so that was a good thing. And it was a good thing. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got killed. But these other countries and countries over there, they know power. And power is all they know and respect. And they're seeing nothing from us. I'm just glad nobody did get hurt or killed. That is a very good thing. And no, I do not think we're prepared for war with China. And I couldn't find it, but I did see or hear. I didn't have a chance to look it up. Apparently, Russia now has nuclear subs in the Atlantic and the Pacific, and apparently they have not had this many before. I don't know, but a high-ranking military personnel from the United States said that if all those subs launched those nukes, we would not have the time to pick a phone up and make a call to launch before we're done. So we are being surrounded, and nothing's going on. Now, I can't say, and I'm not stupid enough to sit here and believe we're not trying to do something. I mean, there's a lot more going on than what we know and what will ever be reported. I know that. But well, what we've seen recently speaks kind of for itself in a lot of ways. So, but you know, I still love this country, as I know many of you do, and it's just awful to see how it's going. And we need Jesus. Some transgender stuff here, and let me just start. Transgender teacher removed from school after threatening to shoot students. Police seized guns from home. The teacher was sent to the school guidance counselor office on March 24th after reportedly claiming to have bad thoughts. The teacher allegedly made concerning comments about self-harm and said they were having suicidal thoughts and that they owned firearms and wanted to shoot some students due to them not performing to their ability. The University of Pittsburgh's LGBTQ task force makes demands including trans-inclusive health care and housing. And I don't understand why this person needed to do this, because there's many smart women out there, many smarter than males. But male chess player dresses as a female to compete in women's tournament. I mean, you got to dress as a woman out to compete in a chess tournament. I kind of got tickled at that one. North Carolina bill would criminalize drag shows after viral lap dance video. And if you didn't see that, about a month ago, there was a drag show, drag queen, whatever, that was in school and did a lap dance for a young girl in class. Repeat offenders would face up to a year in jail. Individuals under the age of 18, so they couldn't do it. You had to be over 18. Disney Plus star says she is pushing for transgender princes and transgender princess in new movie. Injured North Carolina volleyball player urges transgender ban for female sports teams in school. After she was seriously injured with a transgender girl spiking a ball at her, Peyton McNabb, a senior at Hiwassee Dam High School in Murphy, told state representatives Wednesday that she suffered a concussion and neck injury during a game in September when the trans athlete sent a ball into her face. She says she still struggles from an effect of her injuries, including impaired vision, partial paralysis on the right side of her body, unremitting headaches, anxiety, and depression. McNabb claims that she also has been forced to obtain accommodations at the school as a result of her impaired ability and to understand and retain information. Now, some of you may say that, whatever. I've had a few concussions playing football, and I'm sure other people who may list this have had them too, and they can take a long time to get over. And between football, a car wreck, these things can take a long time. So I don't believe one moment this girl's lying. And another